And now we are coming to the next session in a while. Yes, we have our friend here, our colleague. So we are coming to the last session in today, and we are talking about, we will be discussing in this session, which is really the closing panel, about harnessing big data analytics in contactless environment. I will be joining this conference, this panel as well. I'm Mohammed Shahlan, the head of technology for Aqarat, and also with me, my colleague Anshul. Anshul is the Anshul is the CIO for Union Insurance United Arab Emirates. He is a global technology leader and who has been instrumental in driving technology, instrumentation, transformation for business in a range of up to multi-billion US as a revenue. He has been a key player at organizations which have been an average of 30% growth per year. Anshul has several notable career accomplishments, whereas he has led, created, and launched the key e-commerce, mobile, and business intelligence initiatives for the world number one insurance brand AXA. In the as well, he is currently the leadership role as CIO and info and technology and digital officer, leading the IT strategy, technology transformation, analytics, software delivery, architecture, and the cloud for Union Insurance in United Arab Emirates and Oman across the lines of business. So let's start. Anshul, you are here with us.
Yeah, I'm there.
My friend. Yes, how are you doing?
All well. How about you?
Fine. Thank you very much. It's very nice to have you here actually. And we will today we'll be discussing a very important topic about contactless technologies and how using big data to facilitate this. So I need to understand from you actually, first of all, actually for this long time now, contactless is one of the top technologies in digital transformation for the year 2021, and it is taking a lot of market share because also COVID-19 have expanded the market share for this technology. Because everything is going contactless. So how you see this in your sector as insurance sector, and how you feel?
See, in insurance sector has always been dependent on other sectors to pick it up, and that's when insurance sector comes in and picks up new things and new transformation. But this time when COVID hit everyone, it was like no choice. You have to look at contactless, and then globally the insurer started plotting the strategy to have customer first, contactless, all these touchless, all that words started evolving, and there was no way other than having a technology as one of the key areas. Then people started looking at data. So when they started looking at data, they found out a lot of data in the world is not in a form, or is in a form which cannot help them to transform in terms of contactless part of it. So insurance is gradually getting into taking up a lot of things contactless, but in the due course, a lot of data correction or data piece is getting sorted out before completely they go contactless or touchless.
Okay, that's really great actually, and the one thing actually is, yes, everyone is trying to cleanse the data, organize the data, and see how the data will be moving. But at the same time, actually, for you as an insurance company, I think you are not considering only the information or the data that's coming from your own resources, but you are coming it for you the claims coming from the customers from everywhere. So it's really very important now how you will be handling this data. I think this will be a very big challenge for you, because you are dealing with, when there is an accident, for example, you can have a lot of logs coming from the IoT devices, from other technologies, so that you can create a lot of value for you for the cases that you are managing and seeing. Are you looking also in this direction, or just you are focused now on the internal usage of data and something like this?
No. I mean, data needs a lot of discipline, and data requires a lot of discipline. And I believe, Mohammed, if you, I mean, the way we are as of now and the way we are going to be, is going to completely change. The way we've been capturing data was getting captured for the sake of getting captured. A
Mm.
lot of mobile numbers, a lot of email IDs were actually junk. You'll find mobile numbers coming as 11111, a@a.com as email ID. No system can literally easily pick it up and say it's wrong because it looks like a genuine, and going by the formats it requires. So now things have gone deep down the line in banking and financial services to have more disciplined way, more sane way of capturing data at the point of sale itself. I mean, if the data getting at the end point captured properly, data will live its own life, and that's when uh, the way forward is to cleansing of data is something. It's like it should happen. It's like cleaning your house, but don't start protecting your house by getting a dirt inside the house. So you should have setups to stop getting dirt inside the house as well.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so I mean, a lot of disciplined approach is required. A standard process and guidelines have to be laid out. Data should be collected through non-human ways of whether through systems, devices, IoT devices, as you said, Mohammed. Uh, Data has to be collected in a much more better ways rather than humans coming in and inserting data. Because the moment human comes in, they apply brains to actually play around.
Yes, and I think this will be adding value by because we have a lot of machine learning as well. We have RVAs, for example. For example, so the RBAs, when you are have finding a lot of data, and in the previous session we have some in auditing, for example, and maybe you utilize the same. We have a lot of RBAs for joining documentation, splitting documentation, taking my information out of this documentation. So this kind of utilizing of RBA will generate a lot of data, a lot of insights that can be really fruitful for the next generation of analysis. Because we are talking today of some analysis based on historical data, but also are talking about predictive analysis, how we will move, and then perspective analysis also how we can put scenarios and how we can put behaviors for every customer, for everyone. Do you see this as well?
Yes, yes. I mean, the more the automated process of capturing data, the better it is. Less of human intervention, because the moment human intervention comes in, a lot of compromises come in. I mean, people try to play. I mean, they have to issue the transaction or they have to complete the transaction. They'll put any junk. And RPS definitely would. So I have done a similar kind of a project, and it is one of the best and successful projects in the financial services, wherein when a data of license and the Emirates ID, which gets captured, and through an RPA and a cognitive intelligence, I read that card data, and through an OCR I capture it and then populate my database rather than human coming in, and humans are only there to validate that, and that too non-editable format. So less of human intervention, better the data quality would be. So RPAs are definitely going to help, and they are definitely going to create a more disciplined approach if the rules are correct. If the rules enabled are correct in RPA, definitely you will have much more future data coming in as more cleansed data rather than continuous process of dirty data coming in.
Yes, yes, you are right in this actually. And we see actually in the, for example, in the smart cities, because we are in real estate sector, from my side, and smart cities, we are having a lot of sensors today that's put in everywhere, and these sensors are generating huge data. But at the same time, actually, there's a kind of mechanism how to build your city and where you put these sensors and in what fields. Because as you said, actually, in case these systems are not very well organized, then it will be very difficult to manipulate the data that's coming from a lot of devices as well. So for us, from our side, what we do when you are doing contactless technologies, for example, at everywhere, even in the valves and the machines and everywhere, and for the doors, so we are predicting that.
Sorry.
Okay, so we are predicting actually the behavior of the people and how they are acting. But of course, what we are doing also as well, we are starting small somehow. So we are starting piloting a project in certain procedures so that we start to see if this is the correct one or something. Because sometimes you don't want to put a big investment in a contactless technology or analytics technology, and then it's not in the right direction. So we start with this kind of pilot phases. We start bringing rich data from all these devices, as well putting it with the historical data that we have. Then we start to understand the reasoning of the behaviors from the people, how they are acting, how why this machine is loaded over the and the other, what's going on here or there. Then after that, actually, what we are doing, we are updating the system, putting additional information, additional things, and then we are getting a value out of the initiatives that we are doing. Because sometimes you will come and you will pay a lot of money for certain issue, for certain RBA, for certain analytics, for certain technology, because you think, okay, this is the technology that everyone will be using, but it will end up that it's not the right approach. So this is we have to start is like a procedure on how to start on analytics to work rather than to have it in different mechanism. So what do you think in your industry? Do you have similar situations?
See, there cannot be a standard thumb rule or a formula to establish analytics. See, when you realize your data, and it should be driven from the top to the bottommost layer in the organization. When you believe your data is the most essential asset in your organization, you start respecting it. And
Mhm.
that's when you start deriving ways to actually create a ecosystem wherein you award, reward, penalize for data. So, I mean, there is no standard framework or a thumb rule for an industry or for a company to actually subscribe to the way you want to structure it. Now, going back to the same thing, I mean, when you when you believe that data is the most respectable asset in your organization, you start creating an ecosystem, you start building teams, you start creating something which will actually evolve over a period of time, because data also has its own history and legacy,
Yes.
right? And you cannot ignore that, especially in the financial services. Financial services, banking, insurance always had a good legacy. Banking had 30-year-old loan data. Regulators push you to carry that data. You cannot say that from today's onward I cut off and I'll start only using the future, not today's, or I would ignore the historical data. You cannot. So you carry a legacy, so you have to marry off both the legacy and the future, and more smartest way you have to marry it off. Now this can happen with a dedicated approach in terms of a board or a excom and the mancom believe that if I have to be relevant in the industry or in the market, I should respect data. And the day they start doing that, I mean, whether platform frameworks, all that becomes easy to subscribe to, easy to manage, because then you are clear who all in the world, because and that itself requires a lot of data to take a decision.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
when
Please.
you realize my data is junk, my market value is going down, my books are not looking so good, what is that we are missing? See, financial services space is a space wherein the distinction of products and services is very minimal between the organization. More
Mhm.
or less, everyone sells a loan in a same format and a same structure, except plus minus interest rates, or the savings, or the current, or insurance products like motor, health, life. More or less, the products are standard, and your services are structured, and they've been running for hundreds of years. It's not that it's happened over the last 20 years. Nothing great, really great happened in the motor insurance in last 100 years since the motor car has come in. I mean, your pricing of the product still works on the same variables today, which is wrong, by the way. So when you have to evolve, I mean, I keep saying for the motor insurance, I keep saying, Muhammad, till today, insurance industry has been doing a wrong insurance of a motor product. The subject matter for them is motor car or a vehicle, but actually it should be people, person who's driving it. Because it's not the car which meets an accident, it's a driver who meets an accident. So many
Yes.
years of data, nobody questioned that. And they followed blindly.
Mhm.
Same health insurance. I mean, health insurance or life insurance, if you look at it, you get categorized into a bracket of age group and then you get rated. But health and life insurance is different for a different individual.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the policy of the illiterate, or rather call, I will say, illiteracy would be a very harsh term, uh, but yeah, that's a kind of a value which was not given to data which has been existing for years. For years,
Yes.
it's not that you never had that data, so you took that and leveraged on it, and then over you had that data. But I mean, a car insurance, you've been insuring the car, which is not a, if a car is parked, I mean, only other than catastrophic loss, wherein some flood or earthquake comes in, it's going to have a loss. Otherwise, it will not go and hit the other car, right? If it is parked.
Yes. Yes. That's true. And really this is really very important because what's going on, people have piles of data but they weren't able to dig inside. Today with the tools that we have like AI, like analytics tools, currently we can dig into every file and find these data and generate value out of these data. So it's very important what we are doing and what you are saying. Actually here in Saudi Arabia, for example, the insurance, car insurance, for example, they are considering this, the behavior of the driver. So in case you for 5 years or for few years you did not make accidents, then your fee for insurance it will be less than what has been for the previous year. By this way, actually, it's creating a kind of incentive for the people who are not doing a lot of accidents. Yes, it's a behavior issue, and we need to take care about this behavior. And what's interesting also is that currently also you can put a kind of sensors in the cars where you can derive some information about the behavior of the driver, so that every time you see if it's one driver driving the car, multiple drivers, what is the behavior and what time he's doing, what he is acting, and all this will generate piles of data. And it's currently how we manage, manipulate all data so that we restructure the whole things that we have been doing for a long time. Yes, you said it correctly. Usually we have its age groups or we have it by the car itself or something. Now it's totally different, and we have to look in additional insights that's coming. And even we were able to put a scenario. For example, if it's coming from different country, from different location, from different, so it's a lot of activities that can be combined together using predictive perspective analysis, the tools that we have, so that we can generate piles of data. Yes, you true, true.
I mean, for that sake, I mean, entire ecosystem of financial services, which has supporting industries like real estate, we have supporting industries like hospitals. Uh, there's so many underlying auxiliary industries which have been a source of. Suppose you are going for a financial services, home loans. Home loans have, you look at the credit history of a person. I mean, you cannot predict when that guy is going to default. I mean, he might be going bust and just took a loan and might be going bust in few days, and you gave a loan to him, and then you don't know whether you're going to get back your money or not. I mean, similarly goes to the. I mean, there are auxiliary industries which have given you a lot of data, but respect towards data has been a good miss.
Yes. Do you think that like some regulations will be coming on the road so that it will enforce people, for example, to have some kind of sensor, some kind of technology data binding, and so that the insurance company will be utilizing this? Because if there is a kind of governance framework or regulatory framework, then it will help the people in the insurance companies and everywhere actually to collect the real data, the important data, and to utilize it, of course. So that by this, for example, here, as I still told you actually for insurance, because this is important now, is everyone is collecting this data and acting on behalf of it. And now there is a lot of initiatives like big data, open data sources. So sometimes you can even collect information about a behavior of a person from different resources rather than from one of the resources that you have. So it's really a very, very important thing.
Yeah, agree. I mean, the more the data sources, the more intelligent the data is. See, it's like intelligence being added to the brain. when we were kids, we used to get a lot of data. So we got smarter. I mean, by observing, by speaking, by talking. I mean, many ways we used to gather a data, and that's how became smart. So you need to similarly nurture the systems in your ecosystem by supplying different data sources, different feeds to make the systems smarter. I mean, sensors or no sensors, sensors may be a tool. I mean, a person may be absolutely fine. I mean, he might be the best person around, absolutely fine. But in social media, he's just saying that I have, he's talking rubbish about someone. I mean, also makes that person might be having some different kind of opinions on certain things, and that might take him off the market, and he might be not be able to pay my whatever dues are.
Yes, 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 you are right, actually. So it's very important. And actually, when we are talking about smart cities, because this is my background for, yes, for some projects and some work that we are doing, we see that and we have like the three eyes of smart cities. We will have the smart cities that we have instruments that should be working together in synergy so that we can generate data. Also, the interconnectivity between even the people and the machines that we have in the, and then we are adding a layer of intelligence so that we can generate a data that's fruitful and it can be used for to build resiliency in smart cities. Similarly, what we are calling for the sustainable cities, where we have the three R's, where we need to protect the environment by recycling and reusing the resources, as well reducing the waste that we are generating. And all of this now can be measured by a lot of technologies that's being done today, and it's manipulated. There is providers who are using this. So this is the kind of technologies that's being used. And we have here, like now in the payment sector also as well, when you see the payment sector, there is a lot of payment now is going without any contact. And even you see here in Saudi Arabia, they have recently make a bank for STC. They call STC Bank. STC is the provider for telco provider here in Saudi Arabia, and he is making a kind of bank now with a lot of touchless technologies that's coming in. So we see this in smart cities, we see it in the payment, and of course, how you see this in the insurance, in terms of payment, how you feel the payment, the touchless payment or the contactless payment, where we are heading into this sector.
Can you repeat it, Mohammed? I mean,
Yeah, I mean for the touchless payments or the contactless payments, because currently we have in Saudi Arabia here, they have launched recently the STC Bank. STC is the major provider for telecom here in Saudi Arabia, and they legalize it as a bank so that they can provide services, touchless payment services, like Apple phone, like everything on يعني, directly without contact. So is this similar things here in UAE, or how you
yes.
see this industry going on?
See, touchless, non-touchless, I would say that future of the banks will be, I believe that banks would be backends, especially in the payment side of the world. Payment side, a lot of players have come in. And to add up to my portfolio, I have been mentoring a lot of startups, especially fintech. And over past period of 12 years, I mentored around 160 plus startups in fintech, wealth tech, insurtech, health tech, tech, you name the tech, I have done it. So worked with very tech providers. And as I see those new age players coming in, they are the guys who only and only believe in data. So they are making the banks as backends. Payment will not be the payment. Our kids are not going to know which bank they are banking on, right?
Yes.
My kids go and shop on Apple Pay using the phone because there is a card. They don't know whether it belongs to Emirates NBD or HSBC or Citibank. They don't know, and they don't want to care. I mean, till the time it's there on my phone, and I just have to through NFC just tap it. That's it.
Yes.
So The next gen payment space would be a different world altogether. And I was mentoring. I'm just to come back to the part start one of the startups I was mentoring in Singapore. Before I was when I was in there in based out of Singapore some 7 8 years back, there was a startup which came to me and asked me that they have done something on the banking side and help they wanted my tech help to help them build a tech on customer experience. I said I would not be able to help you out because customer experience is something which is fake. It's customer engagement which is more important, how you engage with the customer. Like we as bankers and insurers, what we have done is once we sell our product, we don't care whether customer lives or dies till the time the payments are coming into us, whether premium payments or loan EMIs are coming to us. We don't care whether the person is alive or dead. Fine. So, I mean, if you're not engaging with the customers from the financial services space, you are missing out. And this is where you are seeing the Googles, the Amazons, and the Facebooks of the world. They know where you are, who you are, what do you do, when do you go to, say, a mall, when do you purchase, what are your buying patterns, how do you tap, and this is what they've been doing. They are continuously monitoring you, and that's how they make money by pushing ads, right? I mean, Google make ads through money by knowing that currently Google knows me and Mohammed Shalal are talking, right? Because one fine day we would have opened our Google Maps and now we are being tracked. So they are engaging, and the financial services or the banks and the financial institutions have to evolve to actually look at the next generation of people who are coming in the market for them. Fine, I mean, things have been for last 100 years the same, but now technology is taking over much more faster than anything else. Today we cannot live without a phone, and when we cannot live without a phone means that I am continuously being monitored and managed. My preferences are known to someone, and that's what the banking and the insurance world have to understand to give them on demand products and services. I mean, I want a loan or a lending for a week for my say a trip to US, and I need a small amount of 10,000 US dollars. I mean, I get it and repay back in 10 days. I shift my payment cycle, I manage my pay. Is there a product like that in the market? I want to insure my golf kit and I go and play a golf tournament for 2 days, say in UK for London. I just need it for 2 days. But insurance companies sell me a product for a 1 year. I don't need a 1 year product.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the evolution of products and services have to be done to offer to the market which is coming in. I mean, this market will not be the same, whether in the retail space, because these industries you are serving, financial services is touching upon everyone in the world. Everyone. Whether industries you are touching is retail, you name it, retail, airlines, travel, tourism, uh, transportation, shipment, you name it,
Yes.
oil and gas, you're touching everyone. It's not that banking and insurance is not being touched by anyone. I mean, they are somewhere, though definitely inclusion is less compared to the other, but where there is money, financial services there. Then why we missed out that bus of engaging with our customers, creating new set of demands for the upcoming market. We never created. The products are the same which were there last 20 years. Definitely with Apple Pays and the Google Pays and the Amazon Pays, big markets like WeChat in China, you would not believe, Mohammed, last year, 2019, they did 8 billion worth of red envelope transactions on Chinese New Year.
8
8
billion.
billion, 8 billion. And
Mm.
WeChat, once you go to China, you'll see there's nothing else but WeChat which works.
Mhm. Yes.
You take an Uber, WeChat, they'll ask for a WeChat. They don't need cash. When so cash is on a different version now, and so is the type of payments. So payments would be the easiest impacted area in the financial services, which will see a massive change. Companies like Stripe, which have come in, They're big. They are as big as maybe a kind of a good amount of percentage of JP Morgan Chase.
Mhm.
I mean, a recent uh, company in UAE, which was a payment, buy now, pay later. Simple use case, buy now, BNPL.
Mhm.
In payment space has come in. Company was formed last year, was sold at 20 million valuation this year.
1 year.
1 year, just exactly 12 months recently.
Mm.
So payment has given a lot of innovation. Companies like Paytm in India, if you look at it, they are they've changed the way cash is being used and managed in the entire ecosystem. Now even a vegetable vendor in India takes payment in the form of Paytm. Just like in Africa, right?
Yes.
So, so I mean, Paytm has become, WeChat have become big. So now there is a time for this part of the world to evolve in the form of payment.
Yes, yes, yes. I think yes, it's coming, and that's why there is a, like STCB, the Apple Pay. So a lot I think a lot of technologies are coming, and a lot of providers are coming. I need to hear from you actually something related because you have very vast experience in terms of startup and innovation activities. So I think what will be the advice, because we have some people listening to us who needs some advice about like they risk in going to certain startup. So how you advise them? How do they need to plan their journey as a startup? Based that we have a lot of technologies, we have a lot of opportunities, but some people are afraid to go and to start their own venture or something like this. So how they should go to start a venture based on technology, based on data analytics, based on what they need to start their planning. What do you think?
I mean, the industry is loaded with problems. You know that. You
Mhm.
have to look at, I would say you have to sniff that problem and make it happen. I mean, a startup in, say, regulatory tech, there are so many regulation loopholes in the banking financial services. Build a sandbox. I mean, see, if you have to start a business, you should feel the problem, believe in the problem, and make it happen. So my advice is like, suppose I have to travel to from here to Saudi, from Dubai to Saudi, and believe that there is a pain of buying a ticket, immigration, uh, payment. I see a lot of places wherein I see gaps and huge gaps, and the process and transaction cost of those gaps is huge. If I believe that yes, I can address that, look at the problem, extrapolate in the region, globally, see how big is this problem, start something on your own. I mean, uh, and for that, the only way to do is collect data. Collect
Yes.
data about the problem, and data is available freely available. You just have to look. I mean, one of the very close startups I'm currently working with is the one I talked about on the financial services is behavior based pricing insurance,
Mhm.
wherein I mean uh, I have built a algorithmic setup wherein I'm collecting data in terms of behavior of driver while driving the car, and I'm charging for the time the person is driving. I'm not going to charge premium when the person is not driving, because that time the car is at the least risk,
Mhm.
right? So, I mean, this Singapore startup I talked about was came to me on the customer experience. I said customer engagement, I will help you. Now, we went back to the drawing board, built a huge customer engagement platform with algorithms written onto it that where all customer move, what all they buy, pulled out data from their credit card statements, pulled out data from their debit card statements, their buying patterns, their buying behaviors, all mapped, built, started prescription model. Over a period of couple of months time, that data started prescribing that the next buy of yours would be this.
Mhm.
And then I went to a very close friend of mine who was a CFO of a bank, local bank in Singapore. And he said, we are facing a massive customer churn and all. I said, would you like to try a platform, which is a customer engagement platform? And I gave him the tech part of it and he agreed on it. Believe me, Mohammed, he had to go through definitely regulatory approval because it's privacy of data taking out, and bank insider issues were like credit card team was not keen on sharing their data, bank savings account team was not keen on sharing data, getting that data and putting that into this algorithm. Then we had to go and take this mobile app to take the consent from the customers that we'll be using your data with new privacy norms for recommending you. We are not going to share it anywhere else because regulator said that you are not going to share this data outside your brand. He said, okay. Once the data got mined, the first customer was looking for a loan for his daughter to go to US for studies.
Mhm.
And looking at his behavior and patterns, his bank offered 2% less interest than the other banks in the market.
Okay.
That's the power of engagement it was developed.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So I mean, models for the startup is first of all identify the problem, collect data, extrapolate that problem, and see from the larger perspective how it look problem looks like. Get on the tech, start building a model on data. First thing first, how will you collect data? Because that is going to be your asset, not table chairs.
Yes.
Office spaces are not going to be your asset. Data is going to be your asset. And believe me, these GAFAs of the world, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, the only thing is they live on is data.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Yes, truly. And but actually, maybe yani, okay, we can identify the problem, but for some people, it's they have an issue to identify the right technology to start with. So that's the why I'm afraid because sometimes, for example, the simple question or simple issue when you read to design, for example, a website for your company and you go to people, then there's a gap in translation between what you need and what you will be delivered to you. So a lot of people is thinking how we can control this kind of technology so that it will deliver the right product for us. So this is the gap also, how we can fit this gap. And this is very important for people in the startup working in it. So I
See,
agree for technology partners, but who is that?
successful startups and failed startups, there's a difference.
Mhm,
Failed startup focus on too much on particular thing.
mhm.
Like too much on technology failed. Too much on successful startups distribute the problem. They know a business is a gap. I have to go there. Technology will support me, not support me. Technology, there is nothing written that this technology is the only right technology to do this. There is nowhere it is written.
Yes, yes.
So selection of tech, and the best part is Mohammed, these
Mhm.
days you have a setup wherein you don't have to invest in technology. You can subscribe with cloud coming in, you have all the model to subscribe and switch off when you don't need it. In case you are seeing that this technology is not working out to be, technology is just a tool,
Yes.
and you cannot be married throughout their life to a technology, which typical traditional legacy companies, they have their core system and they are married. I still say core system are the most permanent employee in the organization.
Mhm.
They are the only permanent employee in the organization. Rest people come and go, but core system
It's there.
stay there.
It's changing goals as well today.
Now it is very subscription oriented. You can buy. You're not supposed to buy. So your investment is not that you are going to own that. Say whether you are on a blockchain or an AI algorithm, everything is on the cloud to subscribe. Pay on a monthly basis or a daily basis,
Yes.
and you can switch on and switch off. So you should not get married to a technology because the way technology is changing now. I mean, people used to think coders are the most tough people to get. Now there are platforms with zero code, low code and zero code platform. You don't even have to code. So, I mean,
Yes.
the platforms are available. You just have zero code platform. You build your stuff, run a proof of concept with certain set of people who you believe will give you a right feedback to move on. So when you're starting a startup, understand the problem, build a stack into a particular technology. Don't get married to a technology. You say that this is Microsoft, this is Amazon. I mean, anything, everything will work.
Yes. Yes.
It's not there. There is a written rule that you cannot do this thing without this technology. There is nothing. If there is a rule, I think then
Everyone will do it.
no, it will get copied.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, my take on this: don't get married to a technology, don't get fixed to a technology. First, develop a prototype of your idea or thought, take it to people, get their acceptance, then gradually get the right set of folks. If you get acceptance, then you start building a business model on the top of it, start charting your business plans, and then get the right set of people to run your tech, run your business, all that. Because tech will be just 20% of your business or 25% of your business.
Yes, really, this is interesting because some people actually is thinking that, for example, when we go to Uber or Kareem or something, they think that it is the technology that is driving the business, but it's not true. Actually, it's the business model that is driving their success, and they are utilizing the tools, technology as a tool. So this is very important for people to recognize, and that's
See,
why we see it from you.
Uber is just this. You're seeing my
Yes,
mobile phone?
yes, I see it.
That's it. And the rest of the ecosystem is tied back to the drivers, the cars, the external. Where is that technology coming? Drivers, I mean, it's just 25% of it, 30%. That is
Yes,
powerful, definitely. That's running the business, definitely. But bringing them all together, that everything on tech, that's not there. Even the call center at the back end is supported by non-technology stuff,
yes,
except
yes,
the call routing and all.
yes, yes, you are right. And one more thing actually related to this, because I know you are expert in this kind of startups, is how to calculate the return on investment in some in case you need some investors to join you because you are not able to fund your service. So do you think there's some magic in this, or how do you think?
See, normally I've seen Mohammed, startups at the idea level never get funded easily by external investors unless the investors are your parents. So
Ah,
your parents can invest on your idea, or your wife can invest on your idea. But
mhm.
external investors, till the time you don't show them the face or the value it is creating. See, you understood the gap. I'll take an example. If you build a mobile wallet,
Mhm.
a mobile wallet is a virtual wallet. Example I'm taking. Now, if it gets into everyone's mobile phone, which WeChat and the Paytms of the world have done it in India and China. Now, with mobile wallet, I can transfer cash from me to my friend, to my anyone, the Uber guy, to anyone. And I can buy through that mobile wallet because you will see Visa, net banking, and Paytm or a mobile wallet is another form of payment. If I do that, it's a massive gap you are filling.
Mhm.
Example, I'm just doing an example. Now, I don't have to carry cash every time,
Yes,
or
yes.
don't have to run to ATM to pull out cash and hand it over. That
Mhm.
you would not believe the cash management globally is one of the most expensive ways of transactions in the world.
Yes, truly, yes.
So, I mean, this is one example. Now, you see that whenever you need a cash, you have to rush to ATM to pull out cash. If it is there on your mobile wallet, you just need a tap. That's it. You're done. So this is a gap. Now, this is an idea. You'll go to investors, people may, likely chances you'll be rejected. But when you do it and do it with a set of people, show them, give it to your family and friends of or nearby and ask them to test it or take it. Now, when you have a subscriber base and then you go to an investor, the investor believes in you that yeah, it's working.
Yes.
But at a bootstrap level, see, again, it comes down to data. You have to build data to show to the investor that this is the value I'm creating. Then the ROI piece you can talk about. Till the time you don't have data, you will be faking ROI.
Mhm. Yes, true. Because this is, I like your approach actually. Yes, because you have to build the real data so that everyone will believe in your idea. And but if you are not able to create a full business model or something like this, then you have to try it because we need to prototype. We need to have some real users or real experience with this platform. Then you can sell it to others or ask for investors to go. Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, I agree totally with you. Uh, how you see actually the future of cash and as we are going into touchless technology, so do you think that cash will be vanishing from the market after some time? How do you see it? Because we see it in
Cash will exist.
Africa.
Cash will exist.
Mhm.
Uh, Cash will, because there is still 40% of the global population which is unbanked.
Mhm.
Only
Ah,
60% of the bankable population is banked. Of 4 billion, 4.5 billion population, 2.6 or 2.7 billion people are banked.
yeah. So do you think how we, and maybe some countries will okay will not go in banking and they will have other technologies now replacing the cash, so even it will be decreased this cash
See,
amounts.
I mean, like you have a wallet in Africa, you have a wallet. Gradually, people will shift, and pandemic-like scenarios have actually shifted. But then you have to create an ecosystem for that population to come in. You have to bypass. I mean, there are definitely risks which these startups will take to put those. mm, because there are small banks coming in, and to the financial inclusion is happening there. They're creating small banks and getting the unbankable population becoming a bankable population, because normal banks don't accept them because they don't have that kind of savings, they don't have that kind of money in the banks, and their credit history has been bad. All that comes in, and the typical bank go by that rule of regulator. So someone has to cater to that 40% market. Same insurance penetration anywhere on an aggregate basis, if you look at it, is 3%, 4% in the population wise. And insurance is your protection. It has to be sold as your protection. So cash, if I have to come back, cash will exist with digital currencies coming in, cryptocurrencies coming in, will redefine the way things are in payments and lending. But cash will exist. There will always be underbanked and unbanked population. Cash will exist, but definitely the percentage number will keep. I mean, I was in Germany, Berlin, year and a half, 2020 Jan, and Germany today, 80% transactions, being a very large economy, 80% of transactions are that time Jan 2020 were on cash. Such a matured economy.
80%
80%. Yeah.
is a
I
huge
mean, can you
number.
believe it? Can you believe it? And even I was surprised when I met a central bank and a minister of economy of Germany in Berlin. And I was also surprised. I said, oh, I didn't knew that you guys are still living a life on cash. Who believes in cash now?
Yeah,
But
but if you go to other countries, how you see the ratio in other countries? Maybe you have some statistics here or there.
yeah, I mean, Europe majorly is in Portugal. Then I did my research. Portugal is 70% cash. UK is 60% cash. And the ratio is huge. Countries like emerging countries like UAE, there is a massive shift.
Yes.
Massive shift. I mean, now cash is 20%. Earlier, it used to be 60% in the economy.
Mhm. So yes,
Now it is
so you,
20%. India has changed a lot. China has changed a lot. Southeast Asia, massive change has come in.
yes.
Singapore is above 90% on cash, non-cash. Sorry.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's cash is seeing a decline, but it's not going to be eliminated in some form or the other, whether in a form of a fiat, some form or the other, it will exist for people who are unbanked and underbanked. and acceptance will always be there
Mhm. Yes,
because
yes,
people still trust cash.
yes.
And digital transaction has a cost. So people would prefer paying cash. If you pay a digital transaction, in the entire ecosystem, firmware pays for that cost, which is your debit card, credit card fees, your interest on default of payment. So there's a huge cost in electronic transaction. If that is not going to get reduced, people will still prefer asking for cash.
Yeah, I think this charge will be reduced because banks, for example, or merchants or something, they will be happy not to collect cash because there is a cost for cash. You need to transfer the cash, you put it into certain cars to move the cash. So after some time, you move this cost from here to there, and I think you can reduce this kind of amount that you are paying for cards or something. So it will take some time, but it will happen.
Yeah, it will happen, but I'm not saying it's going to eliminate.
Yes.
Currency
So,
will exist in one form or the other. And because it's since our human evolution, currency existed.
mhm.
I
Yes,
mean,
yes, yes.
so I mean, in some form or the other, exchange will happen. Things, I mean, people globally, a lot of bodies have come in to look at various compliances to manage the cash movements and all. But there are underlying setups wherein cash is accepted and it will always be accepted, especially in the anti or non-legal setups like drugs and all. People
Mm,
accept cash. That's a word which will never have an electronic transaction. It will
mm.
always run on cash, and that's a massive industry.
Mm, yes, my God. Okay. Actually, we need one more thing to cover before we finish is around how is this contactless and data analytics is affecting the speed of the decision. That, for example, when you take a decision today, I think you can take a decision in speedy manner compared to what we have been doing before. Because today we have piles of data, we have analytics tools, we have machine learning, so that you can take a decision and in our industry, for example, in maintenance and something like this, we see that the machine itself sometimes will be able to take a decision that to make, okay, I have some problem here, I need spare part, I need something like this. So how do you see this will affecting other industries in terms of how the decision is made, the speed of the decision that we are making? How do you think it will be shrinking the time? How you see it, my friend?
Definitely. See, this data has been existed pre-pandemic time also. It doesn't. It. I mean, that time we said we used to take time to take decision. Now, all of a sudden, when you are pushed uh, into the corner, you started taking decisions in a very fast way, which is, I mean, you're mocking yourself.
Mhm.
Speed of decision would have been the same technology. The best part is technology evolution has given a huge amount of uh, setup that you can store data and you can compute data. You can The computation power has improved. The storage, which used to be not there, that's why people you used to prefer paper because storage cost was high. Now storage cost has gone down drastically. So definitely, decision making has become faster because you don't have a choice, especially in the pandemic time. You didn't have a choice, right?
Yes.
And that time it was do and die situation.
Mhm.
You had to take. I mean, all of a sudden, someone said people cannot work from office because the infections are getting more. You started working from home, right? And all of a sudden, everything shifted from physical signatures to e-signatures.
Mhm.
E-signatures have been there for last 2 decades. Why we never adopted it? And now
Mhm.
we accept that's so. If you say that that is a speed which we have gone in, I would say it is short-lived.
Mhm.
Now, decision making has to get more profound in terms of asking for. I mean, hunger should be there. Why we don't have data for this? Why don't we have data for that? Why don't we? I mean, suppose you are monitoring your customer, a
Mhm.
single retail customer. I'm not talking about the corporate customer. Corporate customer. Suppose you're monitoring your corporate customer. I mean, you can look at. I mean, you used to take the financials when you used to lend that corporate customer. After that, I mean, once in a 6 month, some governance will set up how things are. Otherwise, you can always monitor that customer on a real-time basis. Why we are not monitoring the business of the customer?
Yes, yes,
Same, I mean, why we are not monitoring my retail customer, how my retail customer is. So, I mean, we had all the data all before. We never did used it. I mean, we were sitting on a gold mine and we didn't knew that there is a gold mine under us.
yes,
So now all of a sudden we get up and see there's a gold mine, then we start digging in. It will take time. And decision making faster is happening on the data which is available. If it is not available, decision making gets retarded.
yes, yes, of course.
So you have to look at how to get that. So give data 360-degree view
Mhm.
so that data never creates biasness. Because
Yes,
data will create biasness when you are going to push the variables of the data towards creating a bias.
really, yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah, I mean decision making has been faster if the data is available. But that data has been available for years. It's not that new data started coming. Now is the time to start looking at finding ways to capture more data.
Yes, and that's what's done by the ecosystem that we are having or are putting everywhere. A lot of cameras, a lot of So we are putting a lot of devices today that is generating huge number of data, adding to what we have. No, so exactly in every machine today we have some sensors that's providing a lot of data. So it's adding to the historical data that we have, and it's how we utilize these old data to build a good future for all of us. This is it is. Yes, you are right.
Correct.
Yes. So we have covered a lot of topics related to contactless and as well for data analytics. I don't know if you need to add something before we close out.
So, before we close out, and I'm open for any questions from the attendees. Before we close out, I would say love, respect data. Start building an ecosystem which lives, breathes, uh, eats, sleeps on data. Without data, don't take decisions because you would not know whether it's a right or a wrong decision in times to come. Till now, you were going with the data and many of your gut feeling. Gut feeling was your experience. But now, with that experience and the times we are in, that experience would not be valid in the times we are.
Mhm.
This is going to give a new experience, new markets, new opportunities. So build, respect, breathe, eat, sleep data. An organization who will respect that will survive and uh, stay relevant. Organization which is ignore that, I doubt they will survive. I doubt. I mean, they may survive, but they will not survive for long more.
Yes, actually, yes, because you will find someone coming from the blind eye, coming and taking a big share of your market, something like this. We have seen this everywhere, actually. So yes, we may see. So sometimes you feel you are safe, but it's not true. Some people will come from nowhere, and he will be taking
Exactly. I
your
mean,
cake.
see, I mean, I'll take an example. I mean, so many retailers have shut down in US. Amazon came in from nowhere.
Yes,
I mean, Sears. I used to stay in US. Sears was my best store. 2 years back, I was there in US, and Sears was filed a bankruptcy just because Amazon took away the business. Toys R Us, one of my favorite shops for my kids to buy toys, is no more. Amazon is selling it. So Amazon respected data. Amazon slept data, eat data, breathe data. They created every ecosystem. I mean, the recommendation engines of Amazons are more powerful than you go to a shop and somebody recommends you something.
yes, yes, yes. You are right. You said it correctly, actually. Yes, we have to eat data, sleep data, think data. So we have to utilize data
Respect data.
to the maximum.
My
Of
way
course, we
is
need to respect it.
respect data. That's the most powerful and a sane way of looking at things. Otherwise, everything would be more of a fallacy of what you believe in. Your belief should not override the fact.
Yes, yes, yes. You are right. Yes. So really, we and
I'm
it
open for
was
questions. I'm open for questions in case attendees have questions. Do
Okay.
you
Yeah.
have?
Let's give it 1 or 2 minutes for the attendees to put in any questions. Yeah, if anyone has questions, please raise your hand. We'll unmute the mic, or you can just type it in the chat as well for any questions. Yeah, please don't be shy.
Actually, it's very really to have a good opportunity to have you here because you will add a lot of value also for the audiences. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions coming back once people digest the information, and because there is a lot of people who are having questions related to how to start their business, how to be a successful gig worker, for example. So a lot of people thinking about it. So maybe it will be once there is any questions or something like this, we'll be feeding these questions to you so that we have some
I run my
insights about it.
I run my consultancy there.
Okay, it's how the digital economy is creating opportunity for everyone. So that's
Yes,
great.
yes.
Yes. So really, it's very much appreciated. And actually, we have ended this session with a lot of. We handle this today. We have a lot of sessions today, 5 sessions, and we are very happy to have you as the closest spelling, because you have a lot of values for the startups, for the new generations. So really, it's very amazing. So thank you very much, and it's really our pleasure to have you here with us, inshallah, for next sessions as well.
Yeah,
So thank you very much.
pleasure talking to you, Mohammed, and thanks to the audience and thanks to everyone around.
Thank you very much, Anshul.
I'm available on my email. Mohammed, you have my email, so you can connect me on email. So email, mobile, I can, if you want, I can type it here. Otherwise, it's fine. Thanks.
Okay, you're almost welcome. Yes. Okay, please, if you want to share your email here, I think we can arrange with Marcus so that we can have your information and.
Marcus has my email
Yeah,
and
sure.
mobile number as well. So
Correct.
Marcus, you can share it with the audience in case they want to connect back to me.
No worries, we'll do that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
Thank you, Anshul.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you very
God
much.
bless. God bless everyone. Take care.